It is time for today's community comment. Here's your host, Craig Warmbold.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon. Welcome to Community Comment. Today we are video streaming from the Daily Dodge television studios in beautiful Beaver Dam. Our guests here on this first segment are with the Horicon School District. And we want to welcome into the conversation Athletic Director Mike LeBoten. We've got a coach, an alumni member, and a member of the committee that we're going to be talking about today, Brian Bischoff, joining us, and of course, Superintendent Rich Appel. Thank you guys very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Craig, for having us.
So if you could, Rich, set the stage. What is it that we're talking about here today?
We are on a fundraising campaign to raise the funds to build a new athletic complex that is adjacent to our high school and our district complex together. So this it's been in discussions for years, but really has kicked off this last spring with the goal of raising over $3 million that will consist of a brand new track, turf football field, and a stadium that will be overseeing all of this. So we already own the site. It's right next to our building, and that's what we've been kicking off in the spring. And with a wonderful lead donor gift from Fred Schwartfigger from Horicon Bank at $1.25 million as a lead donor to kind of get it started. And from there, we have been having some great success from some other businesses that we'll get into in a little bit.
Excellent. Very good. So if we could maybe take a step back here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Horicon School District recently had a referendum that was approved. How does this tie in, or does it at all, to the work that's underway? And where are you at with all that?
Well, thanks. How this really began was I arrived in 2016, and at my first board meeting that I was at, there was a gentleman that was there that was talking about a new athletic football field being relocated back by the high school. So this really began from there, and the board allowed us to put together our first Citizens Advisory Committee that reviewed our current structure and what we had and what our needs were in the district. And then from there, we went and looked at all of our needs, and the greater need was to look at our facilities more than we needed to do a football field at that time. But the beginning of that whole discussion started from what's our needs for a track and a football field. And so we've kind of come full circle, because in 2018 we did pass the referendum for $26.5 million. And so we built a brand new elementary school adjacent to the high school and really have one campus there. But yet we still have, we still have that need of a football field that is right now in the outfield of our city diamond. So we have a football field that's about a mile away from the school. And then we have a track that we've not been able to compete on since 2008, since it's deteriorated. So with the sale of our Van Brunt school and with the donations, we still have dollars that have been earmarked by the school board to be looked at for an athletic complex and fixing the track. So $600,000 have been earmarked from the school district for that, plus the lead donor gift from Fred, and some generous donations from others. That's really the history, how we've come to where we are today, to be able to look at a site that's right there on that side hill to the west of the school and make it that last piece to what we're hoping to be just an incredible campus.
So what does this need look like? Mike, you're the athletic director. Brian, you've coached. You're part of the Citizens Advisory Committee. What is the need that you're seeing as far as what the kids in the Horicon School District need?
Well, I think one thing to keep in mind over the last, this is not a build it so they will come situation. We've got a lot of kids involved in programs that we don't have facilities to actually host them on. We host any home track meet that we have. We're lucky enough that Mayville allows us to host our home track meets at their track, but that's not ideal. It's from a scheduling perspective, we've got another school to take into account, and it just doesn't instill that sense of pride in our programs and what they're actually doing. So we've got growing programs in both football and track. They've had a lot of success over the last few years, but I think the next step is provide them with a facility that shows what they're actually about.
That's what you're seeing as well, Brian.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. As a lifelong resident of Horicon, I've participated in the late 70s and early 80s on the track that we had. We had high participation rates, a nice facility. We hosted conference meets and the such. Been involved in the football program, and I've lived in Horicon my entire life. And now as an older community member, I've seen the facilities kind of fall behind the pace of other communities. Although our participation levels are high, the resources we have are quite limited in comparison to other communities. And as a person that's approaching my 60s and children out of school and such, I think it benefits the entire community of Horicon to have, we have a beautiful school right now. What we need is the adjacent sports complex and the opportunities for these kids like I had when I was younger and we had this nice track situation.
And this would be one campus. Elementary, middle school, high school are already now, because of the referendum, on one campus, and this would bring everything under one umbrella.
Absolutely would. Yep. And so our elementary kids could use it for physical education classes. Our middle school, high school, we could use it for graduation. We could use it for different competitions. As Mike will probably be able to allude to, more WIA events coming into the area that need a nice facility to be able to house something like that. So it is, the location couldn't be better for all of us.
Okay. Well, before we go any further, folks that are listening out there that may be thinking about donating, how do they do that? Is this a 501c3? What do people need to know? Yes,
it is. Donations are charitable donations because we're a school district, and we are. You can go to our district website at Horicon School District K12wi.us. And then you could also go there and you can click on the link that actually has the logo of our support the future of Horicon Athletics. Or if they'd like to just go to www.supporthoriconathletics.com, they can donate right to that point as well.
SupportHoriconathletics.com.
Yes.
So, and you do have information on SupportHoriconathletics.com as far as what the proposed facility would look like. $3 million is the goal. Now, that's $3 million, give or take, depending on which approach you decide to go with.
Exactly.
Tell us the two options that you're looking at.
Two options that we have is $2.8 million is with grass field, and the 3.2 to 3.4 is the turf field. We believe then, and what the committee has been looking for is to go with the turf, just because it provides us so many more options down the road to be able to be used by our city, because the school district of Horicon runs with the YMCA. We run our own city rec program. So all flag football programs, Little League, softball, all of those kinds of activities are also run through the school district. So they could be used for every age level, from youth all the way up to adult, to be able to use the turf. And that's why we're kind of leaning towards that. It also would be able to come into play when we're looking to host playoffs in the fall. They would like to have most of those games be played on a neutral site with turf field. Mm-hmm. So the way that the fields are being designed today, they're much different than what they were 20, 30 years ago. They're just so efficient to be able to use when you talk maintenance, painting of lines, grass, maintenance of that, mowing, watering, all of those things. So that's the overall range of the two costs.
And Mike, Brian, when the rubber hits the road, so to speak, what does that difference mean between turf and natural grass for the kids that are going to be out there?
Well, it gains them probably another 4 to 5 months of actually being able to use it every year. We'll have a couple months of snow cover that you might not want to be on there, but other than that, if it's clear, it's possible to use and it's safe to use. Grass does not really work that way if you want to keep it to be a nice playing surface. So that's the number one thing I'm looking at, is just the amount of time every year that it'll be available for people to use.
Absolutely, and I believe also it will make maintenance over time for the school district. It's just less cumbersome to have to deal with upkeeping the facility with the growing grass and such once it's there. And I believe, Rich, isn't it that there's a threshold of time where the turf actually becomes a better economic situation than grass? There's the break threshold where it's in the best interest to actually get turf.
Yeah. Is that you want to speak to that? Rich?
Exactly. The lifespan of a turf, they're figuring anywhere from 12 to 17 years based upon how it's maintained and how it can be uphold with the weather and those kinds of things. But when you think about the cost of what goes into irrigating, paint, and just manpower on what it takes to get a field ready for each one of those events, there is a cost savings which you hit to. So.
Well, let's really detail what this facility would include in addition to the football field, be it turf or natural grass, because it's not the only amenity that will be there. What else would be part of this athletic facility?
Sure. Do you want to talk a little bit about the track and field?
Sure. Yeah, the track would be an 8-lane track, which would make it one of the preferred ones for running regionals and sectionals. And thanks. And we'd have all of our field events right next to it or on the interior of the track, so that you can see on the images from the website, it's a really nice layout for coaches being able to see a lot of their athletes doing a lot of different things in a really close area. So between that and then the seating arrangements that we'll have, I think it'll be a really nice place for both competitors and viewers for track and for football.
For track and football. And is it just the track that would be part of this? Track and field has the field portion as well.
Right,
would that
all the
be
field
addressed?
events would be there as well.
For people that are familiar with Horicon school situation, it would be on the west side of the school where the existing track used to be, so to speak. It'll be just below the hill to the west and into the hill somewhat, except turned perpendicular to what the track was. And so the track area then becomes a practice field and field events area, if you will, once it gets refurbished and turned in. It's quite a nice setup.
Mm-hmm. And your literature notes that it is a north-south configuration as opposed to an east-west configuration. Is there any advantage to that directionalization?
From a football perspective, yes. Those early games when the sun is just going down at the start of the game, it's nice not to have one team facing directly into the sun trying to make those passes downfield. For track, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference, but still from a viewing perspective, it'll be a fantastic place to watch events.
Mm-hmm. And the layout itself, spectators, what kind of experience are they going to have? What kind of seating are you looking at for those who attend events at this proposed facility?
On the stadium side where the home team is at, there's 750 seat stadium that will be cut into the side hill. And then on top of that will be a plaza that will be an asphalt plaza, so people could stand up there and overview from oversight of the stadium. There's also going to be a concession stand, restrooms up in that location. But then also the side hills that are on both the north and south side of the stadium could be a place where somebody could bring a blanket. They could sit on the side hill and watch the ball game or watch the track meet from that location as well. So really can accommodate from many different angles to be able to watch the ball game. And then we'll have visitor seating from the west side too, looking on.
Okay. What is the parking situation like now? And would the parking situation be changed as a result of any of these proposed enhancements?
Where the current track is located right now will be a parking lot that will be located there, so folks could be able to take a trail up to the field from the west side. There's also going to be parking at the high school. We've got 200 and almost 300 stalls that people could park up on by the school and then walk the sidewalk down to it, or they could park along the side of the road of Division Street or Gray Street there.
So if Horicon were to host an event for the state or something like that, the parking would be there. It would be a facility that could accommodate that.
Yes, we would have well over 500 stalls that we could have there for parking.
All right. And as you said, it's Disher Park where the school district is going now?
Correct.
Currently,
What is that like to get these students from campus to a park a mile away?
Well, we schedule a bus for every home game, which is, not ideal either. It's a bigger hassle when there's weather issues. We don't, we've had to kind of create plans for safe evacuations if we have lightning and things like that. It's, having those sorts of events at a place where you have a solid building is just, from a safety perspective, a great idea. From a perspective of just timing and giving a home team feel, it's nice to have it at your own place as well. And we just, even when Brian was playing, we
Absolutely.
never really had that.
and I was a player in the late 70s. Long before my time, it was Disher Park, which is a city facility. It was set up to be a baseball diamond. It currently is a baseball diamond for our Legion programs. And the football field's really never been qualified by WIA standards to host any kind of really playoff football, because it does run across the outfield of a baseball diamond, and parts of it cut across a little bit of the dirt infield. Doesn't meet specifications, so it kind of takes us out of that.
What does that translate to for the kids? In terms of having pride in their hometown and in their school district, and effectively, basically being able to do what it is that we're wanting them to do and to achieve.
I've been in the school for a long time. I think it took until this last year when we moved into this new facility and this refurbished high school and just this beautiful building that replaced. I mean, it kind of took the place of what had been decent buildings, but not up to today's standards of learning facility. And to see the pride that kids took walking in the door, to see that, they're walking a little bit taller, they're taking care of the place a little bit better because they just feel like this is ours, they did this for us. That makes me really hopeful that they would take that next step with this athletic facility too, and say, we're providing them with a facility that matches what their efforts on behalf of the district have been.
I would have to say also, as a lifelong Horicon person and a lifelong Marshman, I look at the facility now at the new school, and I kind of have a wow coming out of me, because I went to that when it was just a high school. It's a beautiful facility, and this would just cap it off. As a resident of Horicon, just overwhelmingly in favor of making this total campus experience. And I think people from the community would feel that, and I think people coming to our community would have a wow factor when they look at this, and they'd be very pleased to see what they'd see in Horicon.
You mentioned the usefulness of the football field. That goes for the track as well. Would this track be open to the public if they just wanted to
Absolutely.
walk around in the evening, get some fresh air?
As Rich and I were talking on the way over here, people can walk on the track facility if that is there. It's a secure environment. It's you can figure out how long you're going without your Apple Watch or whatever you happen to have on you. And I believe it would be open to members of the community,
24 hours.
organizations in the community, to run different events that we haven't even maybe conceptualized yet, because the facility's there, part of Horicon, and it would be a definite plus.
So again, $3.4 million for a turf stadium, $2.86 million for a grass stadium. Fred Schwertfeger and Horicon Bank
Yes.
started kind of the seed money, I guess you could say, $1.25 million, $600,000 from the school district. That brings us up to 1.8. Where are we at above and beyond that?
We are just shy of 2.2 million right now. We've had some other businesses and individuals come forward with John Deere, Hardware Hank, PS Seasonings and Pro Smoker, Kurtz, Leroy's, Culligan, Surefire, Horicon Boosters have all contributed some substantial dollars. Not to mention, we've had 111 individual donors who have stepped forward. We've had kids who are excited about this, that have put money towards it, and their families and grandparents and folks who are alumni who have not been back maybe to Horicon for years. We've reached out to them through a letter campaign and social media to try and say, we've got a gift here right now and an opportunity that very few small towns get to have. And that's from the lead donor, from Fred and his family and his bank, to really step forward to say, we want Horicon to be something special. And to be able to have a complex like this, really, this ball is rolling thanks to this lead gift and some other visions that are coming forward. But people to come forward and give those kind of gifts, to be able to maybe have their name on a scoreboard, or put their name on the press box, or maybe it's their plaza that they want to sponsor, and that will be their namesake. Their legacy will forever be there. They have that opportunity to do that, and we're that close. We're very, very close to be able to make that a reality for us. And the kids, I can tell you, we have amazing kids in Horicon, and they're so excited about this and are so polite, and they just really want this to happen as well. They're doing brat fries and car washes coming up, and they're coming up with ideas themselves that they can contribute to be a part of this. So exciting times that are happening there. We're that close to the so-called finish line. We need more than 111 donors, and we need some other folks who would say, you know what, I want to have my family's legacy or my business's legacy be a part of this, and we'd like to sponsor something. That would really be very helpful to finish this.
So where do we still have naming rights available then? I think did you mention everything that's available for a naming right? Did you leave anything out?
They can also put their business logos on their turf. If we go turf field, there will be locations to have their names and their logos be placed right on the turf field. The press box is still available to be named, and the plaza.
But the plaza, what's the plaza?
The plaza is going to be it's an area above the stadium. It's an asphalt area that will be kind of a fenced-in area. We envision with one of the gifts from PS Seasonings and Pro Smoker, they're also giving us some of their the ability to be able to cook and have a true tailgate location there. So in our concession stand area, we could envision cooking up brats and burgers, and people be able to be up on the plaza area enjoying the game or the pregame and have a good burger and oversee and watch the ball game or the track meet. So it's a fairly large area right behind the press box and above the stadium.
Mm-hmm. So if Mike LeBoten wants to get his name on something, maybe the press box is a little bit, out of. Maybe you will do the press box. I'm not sure.
I'll see if they'll take my check.
But for the rest of us, do you have like bricks or donor wall options or anything like that?
Yes, everybody will be recognized on a donor wall that will. Right now, the concept is to have it on the back side of the press box so that when you're in the plaza, you would see this wall of donors and the different levels. And it's on the website, too, that has the different levels from diamond level at $250,000 and above down to Friends of Horicon, which is $1 to $499. So everybody will be recognized that gives, and very much appreciated. But we're not going to put bricks on the ground. We're going to do something up where they can actually walk up and see their name.
All right. So diamond level, Mike, you thinking?
I'm all over it.
All right. Very good.
I fully support Mike in that.
But it does require members of the community, friends, neighbors, family members to get together and maybe dig a little bit deep to make something like this happen.
We've had graduating classes that have contacted each other and turned over whatever their balance was in their treasury to this project. It's been neat to see what names come up on the donor list on the website and what groups of people have gotten together to provide some funding for this.
Some alumni challenges, perhaps, huh, Brian?
Great possibility. I have people that I can recall, and we're far enough along in life now where we can reminisce about the days playing football and track at school, and maybe do a little challenging and say, come on, remember the old days.
Coach Myers.
Help us put that together. Oh, absolutely. My coach, Coach Roger Meyer, is already involved, and I can't say enough about him. He's going to be on the wall, and he coached us not only in football but in track for decades of time. an outstanding man.
Him and his wife have lived down in Texas now, and they've reached out to us, and they actually put a letter out, and we put it out to he kind of challenged all of his former players and to contribute to this, and he and his family dug a little deep into their pockets and made a very nice donation as well.
Fantastic. Are there any fundraising events coming up or planned that we need to be aware of?
There are currently right now for the month of July, the Piggly Wiggly in Mayville is doing the Roundup campaign for us, which has been it's going on right now and goes till the end of July. So get out there and please round up as best you can. Juneau's Piggly Wiggly will be doing that in January and February of this next year to be able to do the exact same kind of campaign.
Yep, Wenninger's Auto Sales at the corner of 33 and 67 is going to be doing a portion of their proceeds for the month of August for us as well. So if you're in the market for a nice used car, Wenninger's in August would help us out.
All right. I think we've covered all our bases.
We've got, well, of course, there's going to be lots of brat fries at Leroy's and different places that we'll be tying in with our to try and sell a few sandwiches to make some money too.
Excellent. So folks can go to supporthoriconathletics.com, find all this information, ways to donate, and more.
Or they can contact me at the School District of Horicon. I'd be glad to talk with them, meet with them, and show them the future site.
Mike, tell our listeners here in closing why they should make it a point to help Horicon in their efforts to build this athletic facility.
Number one, our kids deserve a place to participate in a safe manner and a place that demonstrates that we have as much pride in them as they have in what they're doing. Number two, I think it's just good for the community. I think a facility that the community can be proud of will also be a facility that draws more people to our community.
And Brian, essentially the same question.
Agreed. Same as Mike. I feel as a Horiconite, it would give me a sense of pride to see this going forward. My wife and I like to come and watch these events. I do still help the football team. It's fun to watch a new Horicon Marshman come and enjoy these facilities. I think it will show Horicon as a progressive and successful young town. People coming into our community are going to look at that and say, this is quite a nice community, but look at what they do for their young people. And I think that's a wonderful thing.
Wrap it all up for us, Rich.
Two areas. One is for our kids, having that pride that they can compete on a quality, amazing facility, track, football, but also to be able to say, this is our place. We feel proud about this. And then in the community, the same thing. There's something about living in a small town and being able to look in your facilities and drive people past your school and say, this is our future. We've dedicated the money, we've committed to these kids and to our community, and something about something with property values. It's always nice to be able to sell your place and be part of a town that people want to live in. So Horicon's that place.
Again, Friends of Education level for the Marshman donor wall starts at $1 up to $499. That diamond level that he mentioned, $250,000, and you've got naming rights available. The plaza, press box, turf sidelines, scoreboard. You're hoping to get to that 3.4 in that 3.4 to 3.2. I think
Yes.
he's hopefully comes in at 3.2. I
Yes.
got my fingers crossed
Yep,
for
yep,
you guys.
yep.
You're just a little bit away. I want to thank you guys very much for joining me on today's program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Once again, that is supporthoriconathletics.com for more information. I want to thank our guests again with the Horicon School District Athletic Director, Mike LeBoten. Brian Bischoff is an alum and coach and also a member of the Citizens Advisory Committee, and of course, Rich Appel, the superintendent. We do have to take a break. When we come back, our guest will be the county board chairman here in Dodge County, Russ Kotke, and with some important information. Back in a few minutes.
Dodge.com. Time now for more of today's community comment. Here again is your host, Craig Warmbull.
And a reminder to our listeners that we are video streaming today's program. All you have to do is go to the video tab at dailydodge.com. You'll be able to watch today's program live or watch back after the program. Our guests on this segment of Community Comment are the Dodge County Board Chairman, Russ Kotke. Russ, thank you very much for joining me today.
Glad to be here.
Just need you a little bit closer.
All
Fortunately, this is live video, so you could see the mistake I just made had you been watching the video. Things are moving very smoothly here today on this 13th day of July.
It's your first day back. We'll excuse you.
I appreciate that. I may have had a minor scheduling snafu with you. I apologize for the delay. They were supposed to be on at 12:35, but I need to take some lessons on scheduling here, apparently. Russ, though, was very adamant that we video stream. You really like the idea of being able to video stream today, so we appreciate you joining us. Now, Russ, you've got also joining us now by phone for this segment, Brett Remington. He's with Blue Rock, Wisconsin. Brett, thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Craig.
And now you are the facilitator with the topic that we're going to be talking about today, which is essentially a strategic plan that is being put together right now.
Yeah, that's correct. It's the first ever strategic plan for Dodge County, and that's the reason why we wanted to join you and your listeners today, is to let them know what we're up to and invite them to share their thoughts and perspectives about the future direction of the county and the things that they feel are most important to them.
So let's start simply by identifying what a strategic plan is.
Sure. Well, a strategic plan is first of all, it's a really smart thing for any organization to do. Because it's essentially a commitment that anticipates the things that you need to do in order to be successful in the future, so that you mitigate surprises or things that could be disruptive as you continue on in your endeavors. And for the county, it's a matter of setting some clear priorities that we're working towards in anticipation of, again, creating the best services and the best environment for our residents and business leaders to enjoy as we move forward together.
And Russ, from your perspective, what is the value of a strategic plan?
Well, Dodge County's never had a strategic plan in all the years. So we've been talking about this for probably 2-3 years before it finally came to the head that we're going to do this and get on the page that we have a strategic plan and a mission statement and go from there.
So you've kind of been doing things by the seat of your pants then this whole time, right?
Sort of. I mean, I guess there's been sort of maybe a gentleman's plan, but this one's going to be in black and white, and we need to use it and not put it on the shelf. That's some comment that we've had. Well, it's going to go on the shelf, but no, it should be used and reviewed every couple of years. It's not something, we're kind of, I think Brett will agree with me, we're trying to do 5 years, but it should be still reviewed every 2 years. Am I right, Brett?
Right. We're going to periodically, there'll be a strategic plan isn't just a dream. It's meant to organize the people and the resources that we need to actually accomplish things that are important to the county and its constituents. And so, if we set a stake in the ground that, we're trying to accomplish something in the future, obviously we're going to have a way to measure or identify the progress that we're making in moving towards that goal. And so, we won't let any moss grow on the north side of this plan. There will be regular and periodic check-ins to evaluate our progress and to adapt to things that are changing that we may not have initially anticipated.
Mm-hmm. And before we go any further, we should mention that input is such an important part of what we're talking about here today, and that's public input, and the public right now has an opportunity to weigh in on this strategic plan.
Correct. if you go to the Dodge County website, there's on the first page, there's a site there is the strategic plan questions, and you click on there and you can fill out the survey. Maybe Brett knows how many. We've had quite a few answers, but we're still looking for more. And we've been emailing out to some groups I have to encourage them to respond to the survey, fill it out.
It's I'm looking at it right now again on the Dodge County website. Right on the main page, you can click to the survey. It's a one-page survey essentially.
Yes, it's very simple.
Yeah. What kind of questions do we see on this survey?
Well, there's
go ahead, Brett.
So, yeah, a couple of things that we'd like to know. Again, first of all, we're not taking names. This is an anonymous survey. It's not important who said something. It's more important that something was said. So all we're asking is to tell us a little bit about, who you might be. Are you a resident of the county, or do you live somewhere else but you work here? Are you an employer in the county, and if so, what type of business are you? Again, we don't want any personally identifiable information. That's not critical, but we're just trying to make sure that we hear from a broad cross-section of constituents of the county. And after we've learned those simple and easy things, then we just put 3 questions to you. What are the 3 priorities you feel that the county should be focusing on as we think about the future? And we leave those as open-ended responses. You can answer in any way that you see fit. Anything that's important to you that you feel the county would really need to pay attention to in order to be successful in the future, share that with us. We want to hear.
Mm-hmm. And, for our listeners out there right now who are saying, well, I don't know what I want to see. That's why we elect people. What are some examples of some things that people may recommend?
Well, based on some of the feedback that we've collected already, it's clear that there's a lot of different ideas about what people feel is most important. I'll share some things off the top of my head without peeking into the results right now. We've had some folks say that, the preservation of our rural atmosphere is important to them and that we should be focused on that. We've had other comments about, the critical need to maintain a strong transportation infrastructure. Or water quality is something we can't take our eye off of. Educational opportunities and recreational opportunities for our youth, to give them a strong and compelling reason to, make their lives here in Dodge County, not have to leave to enjoy the kind of life that they aspire to have. These are some of the ideas that folks have shared with us, and they're all great pieces of feedback. They're all the kind of things that are going to help inform the development of a plan that will help us to realize many of these great ideas.
Now, Russ, you had you mentioned earlier that in lieu of having a formal strategic plan in place, you've had this kind of gentleman's agreement, if you will.
Yeah.
What kind of things would you say? Can you share with us maybe some of the things that were kicked around in previous years, decades, whatever it may be, that could be formalized?
It's the water.
Water.
Yeah, and transportation's always been there, and them things are the topics.
Yeah.
And that's good. We're getting responses back like that. That just shows that it just isn't the county board members saying that. It's John Public.
So your hope would be that that you as chairman and that the other 32 supervisors would be able to kind of rank these things based on the feedback that you get.
Right.
Yeah.
But my gut feeling is that we need to they're going to all have to be incorporated to some point.
Right.
They're going to have to be brought all in. And that's the questions that, Brett then meets with us once a month as a committee of the whole. And so and he's a very good facilitator, and he gets people talking. And so as this survey comes back, that's the things that are going to be presented to the board. And some of these things have come up on some of the ways we've had some workshops or meetings, and, it's a 2-hour meeting, and it goes very fast. It don't take long to get through 2 hours.
Yeah, the hope is to prioritize.
Right.
All of these things that are recommended by your constituents obviously are going to be things that are important, but you don't have an endless coffer of money.
Right, exactly.
You have to be able to do with what you can.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about these monthly meetings. Now, this is something, if I'm not mistaken, these monthly meetings are open to the public?
Correct.
Okay, what do we need to know about them?
They're held in the county boardroom, start at 6 p.m., the third Wednesday of the month, always. And they usually go 2 hours. Brett likes to keep it in 2 hours, and that very good time span. It doesn't take long to get through 2 hours. So.
People's eyes start to glaze over
Yeah,
after about
exactly.
2 hours or
Right.
so it's a good thing. What kind of things have you been discussing in these meetings?
Some of this is transportation. He's had questions, and they're putting stickers up on the wall and stuff what everybody's thinking, and there's a lot of thought goes into it, and and Brett usually sends out something before the meeting to get the county board members thinking before he gets there too, and some of it's on the spot.
Mm-hmm. So, just to select one of these, you mentioned transportation. What could that mean? I mean, are we talking about possibly a county-run bus service or something like that?
No, I don't think that. Maybe that would be in something for the seniors, but not necessarily. Transportation is the road infrastructures, because we're moving product through this Dodge County. We're welcoming people to Dodge County when they come here to go to the Horicon Marsh, to the parks that we have, and they're being used very heavily this past 2 years. Mm-hmm. More so this year than last year, but I mean, there was still a lot of people doing local things because they weren't traveling out of the area, but there was still a lot of local things going on, and bringing people to the area brings in revenue for every business in Dodge County. So
sure, if people want to talk about as a priority recreational opportunities,
right.
As you're putting that budget together, that's something that you want to know as far as how much money to direct to maybe some of the county parks, Astico, Durgee, or something like that.
That's the name of the game, and then transportation falls into that part of it because of infrastructure to get there.
Yeah. So when you're talking about recreational opportunities and we're filling out this survey, how specific should people get? Should people say, well, I want to see a bridge installed at Astico Park, which is obviously something that's already happened, or
right.
A Durgee Park, I want to make sure we see this very specific thing. Are you looking for more general type of things when filling out a survey like this?
I think we're looking for more general, but maybe Brett's got a different take on that. So.
Yeah, I think this process works best when we keep higher level, more general ideas out there. So, for example, we were just talking about transportation, and what we're trying to anticipate is what are the things that are changing that we need to anticipate so that we're not caught flat-footed, and that we are always in a great position to get the most out of the resources that we have. So, for example, if I were in Dodge County filling out this survey, I might say, you know what, I want to make sure that when it comes to transportation, we don't forget that electric cars are now becoming more popular. And I want to make sure that in the future we have places that we can go to charge electric cars. That might be something, and in fact that reflects some of the feedback that we've heard already. It's as we reflect about not reflect as we think forward to the future. What are the things that you feel we should be focusing on and anticipating that will, again, create the best quality of life for our residents, the most vibrant economy for our businesses, the best educational environment for our students, the best healthcare systems, so on and so forth, so that Dodge County remains, the best place in Wisconsin to live, work, and play.
So when this, and again, our listeners can go to the Dodge County website, which is www.co.dodge.wi.gov, and it's right there on the homepage. You can link to that survey. So when the survey results are finalized, which not to again take another tangent, but it's what, a week from Friday that the deadline is for these surveys?
Yes.
Week from Friday.
July 23rd.
July 23rd. So when you get this information back and you collate everything, Brett, what is this finished document going to look like?
So the survey feedback that we're getting, to be completely upfront, it's all advisory in nature. So just because I say that, I want a bridge built, doesn't mean that we can actually go and build a bridge. But what we're going to try to do is we're going to consolidate all this feedback into some of the larger categories. So let's use, again, transportation as our example. We'll collect all the comments that we got that relate to some of these larger themes, and we're going to make them available to the board supervisors to say, all right, here's what our constituents are telling us. And do our plans reflect some of these larger ideas? How well do they marry up? So I hope that we have thousands upon thousands of responses. We're not quite there yet, which is why we're here asking for your help today. Please share your thoughts and ideas with us. But when we're done, we're going to consolidate all those into one larger document and then map them back to these priorities, so that the strategic plan that we create for the county mirrors a lot of the feedback that we've collected from our constituents that describe the future that we wish to have for ourselves here in the county.
So are you actually mapping out a plan, or are you collating survey results, a little bit of both, or neither?
I guess the way that I'd respond to that is by saying that they're kind of in parallel. The county board is going to be consolidating around some large ideas in our next meeting, and at the same time, we're going to be looking at the feedback that we've obtained from constituents, and we're going to make sure that those two marry up to one another. Once again, we've got a very, very broad, diverse amount of feedback already. And what we're hoping is with even more feedback, some key themes will emerge that, again, our plan will reflect. And then the plan that we're going to build for the future, we can honestly say, was based on a lot of the feedback that we collected from constituents of Dodge County.
I feel like a lot of the questions I've asked have kind of geared toward the idea of budget making and putting a budget together. If it's a recreational opportunity, should you be investing more money in parks, that type of thing. Maybe am I being short-sighted by that? Is policy also a component of this? Water quality, if that's a item that comes up quite a bit amongst those who take the survey. That's not necessarily an investment. It could be, obviously, but it's also really kind of more of a policy type of thing. Is that what we're talking about here? We're talking about setting policy and investment in those taxpayer dollars?
I would think so. I mean, I think that's where it's going to end up.
Yeah,
it's going to end up that way.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Now that's got to be helpful to you when you cast your vote, I would think, Russ.
Right.
You're the chairman, and you have one vote,
right.
But everybody's got one vote.
Exactly.
33 people up there, and so they would have the opportunity to look back at the strategic plan to maybe gauge public response.
Right.
why not just put a survey up on the website every few days, or maybe in advance of a meeting? Hey, we've got these resolutions and ordinances coming before us at the county board. What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Well, that's why we have committee meetings, though. I mean, the committees are really bringing the resolutions to the county board. And so feedback for there should be at the committee level about changing something at a committee level. The county board is approving these resolutions, but they've also been already through the county committee, came from the committee. So that's, kind of the way we're a committee form of government.
Yeah. And if you do have that supervisor who says, well, this is just going to sit on a shelf. What are we doing this for? This is just a waste of money. What do you tell that supervisor? That
We'd ask them to let that happen. Future boards have to look at this. I mean, yes, next April there'll be an election, so there probably will be new supervisors. General rule, we probably get 5 to 6 new ones every turn off, every 2 years. And so they have to be brought up to speed on that and keep it on the shelf. Mm-hmm. Not on the shelf, in their radar.
On their radar. And what is the price tag for this, Russ?
About, I believe it's less than 12,000, right, Brett?
That's correct. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And what is the timeline is that the surveys, you're asking that people go to the Dodge County website right now and take that survey, asks basically some basic information and what your recommendations are. What is the next step in the timeline after this? Flesh out the rest of the timeline for us, if you would.
Brett's got the timeline.
Yeah, so this is all, the reason why we've got this July 23rd deadline is again, if we're going to complete the plan by the end of 2021, we need to establish some key priorities for the county, and therefore, the comment period will essentially shut down at the end of the month. And we will use that information to, once again, ensure that the priority areas reflect the majority of the feedback that we've obtained. But the steps from that point are we're going to develop some actual strategies. So let's use preservation of water quality as our example. That might be a big theme, but there's many different ways for us to accomplish that. And what we're going to do is we're going to describe some specific things that the county can then do that's within its control to ensure that we preserve water quality, for example, if that became a focus area. And it will also include some measurable aspects so that we can determine how much progress that we're making along the way. And then ultimately, we have to integrate the employees of the county that will have a hand in doing some of the work that will be inevitable in fulfilling this plan. And again, that'll carry us through pretty much the fall. And then we'll do, as we get towards the latter stages of this plan, we're going to do a sanity check to say, are we really capable of doing everything that we're committing to here? Because what we don't want to do, and where our credibility will be lost, is if we create a plan that we're incapable of actually achieving. So there's the moment late in the plan where we're going to step back and have that conversation and validate that the things that we're committing to are within our capacity to actually deliver. And then we will publish it and get to work on it. And that'll bring us right to the end of this calendar year.
Will the public have an opportunity to see the finished product? Will this be posted on the
Most
website?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, great. And so we've got this about a 5-year strategic plan, is what you're saying. Though it could, certainly
Right.
be something that is looked back at. Would you have would the hope be to try to do something like this every 5 or 10 years, Russ?
Well, yes, but you like Brett said earlier that you have to you should be looking at it every 2 years because it might need some fine tuning before the 5 years. Because 5 years is a long time, and it'll probably get away from you again if you don't look at it and do some upgrades every couple of years. Because things are going to change.
And you say the committee of the whole meetings that are open to the public and the county board meeting are on the third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. What type of involvement from elected officials are you seeing, Russ? Is the whole county board showing up for these committee of the whole meetings? You got about half, quarter?
Yeah. We've had the first 2 we've had real good results. This last one we had about 23 show out of 33 or 32. So we hope they all show. I mean, it's important that they show and put their 2 cents worth in.
Yeah. Are you seeing engagement on the part of supervisors with this?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are. I think it's getting better. I mean, it's getting there where they're getting more comfortable with Brett and the whole process of what we're doing, and that's the idea, that we get them engaged, and there's been good comments and good feedback on the stuff that we put up on. I guess I'm probably saying it wrong, Brett, but by what we're putting on the wall and talking about with ideas.
It's definitely keeping everyone talking and engaged. Yeah, I would say this county board. Number one, it's a large group of people, and I've been very satisfied with the thoughtfulness that everyone has contributed to the work we've all done so far. We haven't had people sitting on their hands. I've put them all to work, asking them to contribute their ideas, to discuss and debate things that we've talked about, and to challenge one another respectfully. And that has definitely been the case. Great engagement, great involvement, great participation. And because of that, I'm very optimistic about the quality of the plan that we're going to generate for the county.
Russ, is this the type of strategic plan that are supervisors encouraged to fill this out?
Sure.
Okay. Have you filled it out?
No, I haven't yet, but I'm going to.
Just curious. What do you think of as a somebody in your position? You've been with an elected official with the county, 20 years now? At least?
Since 1998.
Since 1998. What is a priority to you as a taxpayer in Dodge County?
Transportation and water quality.
Yeah.
That's, you got to have good roads, and I've heard some comments from people that, well, let the roads go back to gravel. Well, that isn't going to make John Q. Public happy.
Yeah.
Anybody that would live on a gravel road would say, well, what about all this dust and all this stuff? It's like, okay, and there's you got to work through this and get the roads fixed. And I mean, Dodge County's a large county with 540 miles of highway, and so a lot of county roads to fix, plus all the state highways we have. So
Yeah.
It needs to be done.
Yeah. And so if you see an overwhelming amount of support for transportation, do you think that could have some impact when budget time rolls around to perhaps exceeding some of those levy limits and maybe really digging deep and borrowing a lot more money than maybe you would intend
we
to?
borrowed $9 million this year to do roads, and that is a plan for next year. But maybe with this second round of stimulus money, or whatever you want to call it, from the feds, we haven't got a clear definition of how we can spend that yet. So, maybe that can be used for roads. So,
and that's interesting that you brought that up, Russ. Can you maybe for a minute talk about the the money that was allocated and how the survey results, because there was a survey about transportation spending that was on the website maybe about a year ago or so. Can you
2
speak
years.
to how that helped? Yeah, it was 2 years now, hasn't it been? Wow. It's almost like the last year didn't exist. Can you speak to how that helped supervisors in making some of their decisions?
Well, we had supervisors that said it wasn't a good core of people, but, we can't force anybody to do a survey. And if the people are interested, they have to do a survey and help fill that out and give us the information. And it's, we're spending the money, but, interest rates are low, and it's time to do it because product is only going to go up. And so, there's a lot of road work being done this year.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, that survey gave like 3 different tiers of,
Yep.
of borrowing levels, and I think ultimately you guys settled on maybe the
Middle
second
one.
to last, the middle one. Yeah,
About
yeah,
18 million over 2 years.
yeah. And again, that was feedback from your constituents that
Right.
help you make that decision.
Right.
When we're talking about something like water quality, Russ, interesting to hear you say that because you're an agricultural producer. You
Right.
farmed in the town of Trenton your whole life, I want to
Yep.
say.
Yep.
And you're very well of this aware of this debate about water quality, and a committee has risen out of the conversations that have taken place. I'm curious your thoughts. I know this might be a little bit of a diversion, but this is maybe going to be an important topic for some people on this survey. Your thoughts about this this debate, if you will, when it comes to water quality?
Well, you have to do it. We have to watch, take care of the water quality. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. And there's different opinions out there of why some people are getting sick about agriculture and this and that, and we have to take care of the ag people, and they have to do their due diligence to be good stewards of the land and the water. So it's a tough call, but we're going to have it's got to be done. The water's got to be a number one priority because there's only so much clean water. And if it's not going to get better if we don't take care of it properly.
Yeah, we've seen some good advancements, and they've been they haven't been mandates. They've been voluntary compliance, and
Right.
it seems like we've seen some. We've still got a long ways to go, but we've seen some good results from
Right.
that here in the short term.
You take the Beaver Dam Lake District or the Lake Improvement or whatever they're called right now, the things they've done, and the group down that's in Dodge County, but I can't think of the name right now, but they're doing many good things about the land and
Healthy soil, healthy water.
soil.
Yeah.
That group, they're
Sure.
they're doing umpteen things and getting people involved and more people involved all the time. So.
And it seems like things like that, being able to facilitate something where now you've got this educational idea being floated around the community, wouldn't happen without feedback from the community.
Exactly. That's what everybody needs, feedback.
And so that brings us back full circle to this idea of the survey. It's on the county website right now.
Yep.
If you would, Russ, tell our listeners why you think folks should take a moment, pull their smartphone out, to fire up their laptop, to get on the computer and fill out this survey.
It's very important to fill it out because we're asking the public to fill it out, and it doesn't take long, and it's open now till Friday, July 23rd. And it's easy to find on the county website. It's right on the front page, first page when you open the county's website up. It's right there. You click on strategic planning. You're in the survey, and you can get it filed. 1, 2, 3. You're done.
Yeah. And Brett, if you would leave us with your final thoughts about the importance of taxpayers, of county residents participating in this opportunity.
Well, here in Wisconsin, we have, 72 counties? And right now, Dodge County is one of the only counties that cares enough about the opinions of its residents and stakeholders to ask them what they feel should be a priority for the future of the county and their role in it. That's a special privilege, and I'd want to take advantage of that because this is a really important way to help develop consensus around what the greatest priorities should be for the county as we work forward. It's much easier to have a plan and measure our progress than to react to every next crisis that's thrown into our lap. And so I just want to say once again how remarkable and laudable it is that Dodge County took the initiative to create a plan for the future and then to invite county residents and other stakeholders to have a voice in it. It's a great privilege, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of it.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys both very much for joining me on today's program.
Thank you. Thanks, Brett.
Thank you, Craig.
Thanks, Brett. We do appreciate it. Again, you can go to the county website, co.dodge.wi.gov. Right on the homepage there, you can see the link to the survey. Just a few quick questions anonymously about who you are, and then 3 areas that you would recommend things. It's quick and simple. You got through July 23rd to be able to fill that out. I want to thank our guests once again for joining us. Brett Remington is a facilitator with Blue Rock, Wisconsin, and he's behind helping this survey become reality. And of course, Russ Kotke, the chairman here in Dodge County. Thanks again for joining us in person here, Russ. We do appreciate it. And Brett, thanks again. That's going to do it for today's Community Comment.
When it comes